Hello, my name is Gina Cavallini with Rosemary and Thyme Health, and welcome to my video about the earth element. So what is the earth element? The earth element in Chinese medicine supports our digestion, which includes the organs of the stomach and the spleen. Every element has a color associated with it, and the earth color is yellow. The earth element within us controls our sense of taste, and its energy is physical. So if we want to think about this in terms of what does that mean within us, we take in proper nutrition from the earth, we digest it in our stomach and our spleen, and we're able to do physical work. It controls our muscles, and its taste is sweet. So the window through this element, because it's all about eating our harvest, is through the lips. Its action is thought, and its sound is singing. And the day of the month is Saturday. So what does that look like when we're thinking about, because this medicine is about being based in nature? Why is the color of this element yellow? So you'll see here, we have all of the elements that are working in tandem together, in which we are focused on the center one, which is the earth element. And every element has a season. So the season of the earth element is late summer. And this is why the color is yellow, right? It's late in the summer. Things are very dry. All of the harvest that you've been growing all summer long has been picked, and the fields are empty. So that's where that concept and where that color of this element comes from. So each element, because it has this climate that it prefers, and that is the dry climate, right? This dry, hot, like Indian summer heat. And so when our earth element is out of balance or in disharmony, that means that it would have some dampness. So think about this for a second, right? If you have go back to this image, you have this very dry landscape where everything has been harvested, and then the rains come in and it gets really sweltery and you're really sweaty and very humid. That earth element does not like that climate. And that's what we mean by dampness. So what does this look like in our bodies? So our earth element, when it is out of harmony, we would experience a lot of bloating. That's dampness in our body. Think about yeast infections. Think about like snotty nose, yellow snot, swelling and edema in our ankles. And how does this happen within us, like over time? And a lot of it is because our diet is based in eating a lot of dairy and a lot of really greasy foods. So that's how that concept begins to build in our body, which leads to metabolic syndromes, which leads to high cholesterol and obesity and all of those things, which is dampness in Chinese medicine, which the earth element absolutely loathes, right? It wants to be dry and clean and clear, and everything is just sitting where it's supposed to be. There's no blockages or anything like that. It's just like open, dry fields. So other ways that our earth element is in disharmony and how we can tell that in our bodies. And I love this image because what happens after late summer, right? The holidays start kicking in. We start eating a lot of sugar and Thanksgiving, and it's just like food, and you're making candy and giving all of these treats, right? So we have this concept of fat Santa. So what does that feel like, right? Here's Santa, and he's got this yellow tinge to his skin. He's got the big bloated belly, and he's probably experiencing feelings of heaviness in his four limbs. So I know, like for myself, I'm allergic to dairy. If I eat too much dairy and I start cheating and doing all the things, I start feeling like, in my arms and in my legs, and just like feeling of this heaviness. And that's what that damp feeling is like in your body. You'll have loose stools, epigastric pain. You might suffer from heartburn, nausea, belching, those kinds of things after you eat. You might bruise easy, poor appetite. You'll have a dull yellow complexion, and you might wake up with a bitter taste in your mouth. So that's kind of letting you know that your earth element just needs some support. Other things and other ways that we just throughout our daily busy lives would make our earth element become disharmonious is that we eat too late at night. So in Chinese medicine, we are told that to not eat anything past 7 o'clock, because this is when our body wants to rest and wind down and sleep. It shouldn't be exerting all of this energy digesting food. And I'm guilty of it. I eat sometimes too late at night, and then I'll notice that I don't sleep that well, or that I dream more things, it's just like not a restful night. Also, so another thing to think of is when you are irregular eating, so eating late at night and then irregular eating. So the peak time in which our stomach and our spleen really wants to take in good nutrients is between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. And this is why they tell us that eating a breakfast, the breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? That's where that concept comes from, because we need fuel to give us energy so that our muscles, and we have the stamina in order to get through our workday. So things to avoid: high fat diets that causes dampness, constantly eating cold or raw foods, right? We want to keep our body warm, of course, but if you eat too much cold and too much raw, that can also be a bad thing. Poor quality foods. So you are what you eat. And then also think about this, living in a damp environment. So if you live, let's say in Florida or some tropical place where it is just always hot and sweltery, then that is what that representation in nature is all about, to what is going on in your body when your earth element is out of harmony. Think of it like big sludge, like cholesterol building up in your arteries that's just congealed there. All right, so foods that nourish the earth element, right? The color, remember, is yellow. So every time you go to the grocery store, and once you dive into these videos and you'll see more about the colors, you can actually choose the colors of the foods that you're going to eat in order to nourish your elements. And so it's really, really, really important that you eat with the rainbow every day. So what are these foods? Oatmeals, corn, oranges, pumpkins, ginger, miso soup, honey and bananas, squashes, all those, think of all those things like potatoes that we are harvesting late in the season in order to store up for winter. And, like gourds and everything, you can put them down in your cellar. They last a really, really long time. Sweet potatoes, perfect example of that, of the earth element. And they store well, and you can eat them over a long period of time. You're making those hearty stews. The weather's starting to change. You might have colder in the evenings. So you're starting to kind of crave those, your pumpkin spice type flavors. That's the earth element talking to you. So I love essential oils. And so here is my list of essential oils or even supplements that you can take in order to help nourish and tonify your earth element. So turmeric, right? Turmeric's yellow. What is turmeric good for? It's good for joint pain and swelling, high cholesterol, gout, and gas. These are all symptoms of a earth element in disharmony. That's a dampness right there. Ginger, which I mentioned earlier, good for reflux, nausea, loss of appetite, constipation, colds, and flus. So what are we doing? We're getting maybe our first, hopefully not a lot of us, but some of us with the weather change are getting our first late summer cold or, kind of fall cold, right? And the first thing you can do is just go and make a hearty soup with some bone broth and some ginger, and that just kicks it with some scallions. And they're like, oh, wow, there you go. That's your medicine. Fennel. Very good for blood sugar imbalance, intestinal parasites, gas and bloating. Coriander, which is very good for itchy skin, rashes, food poisoning. That's a big earth element in disharmony, right? Because the earth element is all about digestion and taking that food in for nourishment. Body odor, and think about this, nervous exhaustion. So I'm going to get into the earth element as far as like what it looks like for us personally in just a minute. You'll understand that more with about this nervous exhaustion and AKA worry. So cardamom, sinus congestion, colitis, diarrhea. Wild orange is very good for stress. It's very good for sluggish bowels. You can take it for detox and regeneration, especially if it's made with the peel and the pit. I personally love doTERRA oils because they are safe for ingesting. Like I never thought that that was actually going to be a thing. But I've been ingesting essential oils now for almost 6 years with no issues. Some people look at me like I'm crazy, but if you get it from a reliable source, they're okay. Lemon, right? Yellow, color's yellow, good for lymphatic cleaning, pH issues if you are chronically having yeast infections, edema, and then of course clove. We always crave clove, especially around this time. Like what's the big thing right now? Pumpkin spice lattes. Very bad for your earth element though. There's a lot of cream in that. All right, so tangerine is my ultimate earth element oil. And the reason why is because it's high in antioxidants, it's immune boosting, and it provides cellular protection. It's very good for the digestion and elimination. So if you have that gas and bloating, I personally get up first thing in the morning and I drink a citrus oil, whether it's tangerine, wild orange, or lemon, because I want to nourish my earth element because I know I'm going to be having breakfast soon. And I also want to detox my liver after I've been sleeping all night long because I want that phase 1, phase 2 liver pathway to be supported. Parasites, believe it or not, an emotional component to this oil is very good to as far as overthinking, feeling stuck. You can use it for edema and cellulite. And then also with high in vitamin C, right? It's a citrus. So congestion, cough, or asthma. And it's helpful for boosting your metabolism and weight loss. So I always like to include in acupressure points. I am an acupuncturist, and sometimes a lot of people, depending upon where they live, don't have access to an acupuncturist. So you can use acupressure. So if you are somebody whose earth element you know is imbalanced, you can rub on this area of your leg. It's on the medial part of your leg, just behind your kneecap, where it gets soft right there. Behind your tibia, it's probably really tender. Mine's kind of tender right now, actually, too. If you have chronic dampness type issues, so the constipation, like loose stools, constipation, high cholesterol, all of those things, you can just rub that area. That helps to open and move our water passages. It will help with edema and vaginal itching, yeast infections, and upper and lower stomach distension and pain. The other super powerhouse earth element acupressure point is stomach 36, which is on the opposite side of the leg. Same area, right? Just under the kneecap. There's a nice meaty muscle right there. You can rub. It's in between the tibia and the fibula right there. So good for fatigue, good for nausea and vomiting, anxiety even, and tendency towards sadness. Also very good for the breasts, believe it or not. So if you combine stomach 36 with spleen 9 and just rub that upper part of your leg, that will help remove that dampness out and help stimulate that channel in your body if you can't go and see an acupuncturist. You could do that all yourself. Just get yourself a good essential oil and rub it on. So in Chinese medicine, we use the tongue as an analysis tool. So I wanted to show you guys what a person who has chronic gastritis with their tongue might look like. So go back and think about dampness and think about that color yellow. So this person has like a yellow, thick, yellow whitish coat on the tongue. That's that damp quality. And it's got the yellow tinge. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes they will have a red tip here. But I want you guys to pay attention to this thick coat here in the middle of the tongue. This is where your stomach and spleen is located on the area of the tongue that we use for diagnostic purposes. And that's why a lot of this yellow coat is concentrated on that area of the tongue. Another thing that you might see is when you wake up in the morning, you'll have these scallops on the side of your tongue. And that is your digestion just needing more support, and your tongue is swelling while you're sleeping and bumping up against your teeth, essentially. And so when people start working on their digestion, maybe taking some digestive enzymes, not eating such, damp, greasy foods, cutting out the dairy or things like that, you'll actually see their tongue will become less swollen and these scallops will go away. So check your tongue out in the morning, first thing when you wake up, and see what kind of coat is going on. All right, so every element has an emotion attached to it. So we already talked about excessive worry. So the earth element is, if you are a person who worries a lot, that is like a component of when we think of the earth, right? We need to think of, this is our home, Mother Earth, those kinds of, like, having enough nutrition, having enough, being enough, those types of things. So when we don't feel like things are going to be working out in our favor, we might have excessive worry. Or again, if we don't have enough, we might be clingy for people or to people. We also might be too people pleasing. We overthink all the time, part of the worry. Despair, disgust, nervousness, helplessness, hopelessness, and a rumination. So just think of that like monkey mind, where you're just like staying up at night and you can't stop thinking about this thing. And oh my God, what do I do? That is your earth element out of balance, because you don't have the safety and security within yourself to know that you can handle the things that you need to handle, if that makes sense. There's a beautiful book out there by Lillian Bridges called Face Reading in Chinese Medicine. And believe it or not, our emotions, right, and our elements that are within our body, we have 5 here. And if you watch the rest of my videos, you can see the rest of how these elements are at play every single day. But here is a sign of a person who may be an over-nurturer, and that's the pursed lips. So worry, right? You're like, deep in thought, you're ruminating. You will have, after a while, you could get these pursed lips around the mouth, which indicates a long history of following the rules, over worry, and doesn't feel rewarded for having always done the right thing. And it's a beautiful book. If you are interested in just nerding out, I highly recommend Lillian Bridges' Face Reading in Chinese Medicine. You can look at your own face and be like, oh, I've got lines there and lines there. Or, my partner has lines there, my child. It's pretty fascinating stuff. But this is the sign of an over-nurturer. And then I always like to add a person into my kind of like the element in action. And this is my friend Sunny. And she is, to me, the ultimate earth mama. She's very thoughtful. She's very caring. She's practical and down to earth. She loves music and art. She's got a very grounding spirit about her. And she's very, very, very supportive of other people. So that personality, right? Mother Earth, and that sanctuary. And the other beautiful thing is Sunny, think about this. So she has 9 children. So if that's not the ultimate earth mama, I don't know what is, because that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of nurturing for others. Her business is even called Mother Magic Apothecary. She's got a beautiful round face, round eyes, round lower cheeks, which are called the money bags. And she nurtures herself inside through her spiritual practice, which allows her to nurture all of her children and other people. She's one of the kindest people I know. So I'd love to just showcase her. And so think about the people in your life who embody these personality characteristics, even within yourself, right? Do you see these within yourself? Think about the ultimate mother. So I want to leave you today with the Chinese wealth cycle. So if you are healthy, then you can work hard. If you can work hard, then you can grow good food. Or you can make money to buy good food. If you eat good food, then you can be healthy, and the cycle of wealth can continue. So if you want to start engaging in discussion with me, you want to learn more besides just this YouTube channel, please join my Facebook group, Rosemary and Thyme Oil Mavens. There's a lot of really wonderful women on there. I teach classes once a week. I also offer a free tongue analysis myself and Dr. Mika Carew, who is also a naturopathic doctor and an acupuncturist. And we offer them Wednesday evenings, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, and it's free. And what we do is we look at your tongue, and that will let us know which elements are out of balance in your body. And if you are curious of starting a supplement and essential oil protocol, we will customize a protocol for you based on what we see in your tongue. So you can find me at Rosemary Thyme Oil Mavens, and you can make an appointment with myself and Dr. Mika. We would love to see you. So thank you so much for joining me for this Earth Element discussion, and I look forward to seeing you soon.